Joining us now, Gene Marks, the president of the Marks Group. He's a CPA and small business expert. Gene, thank you for being here. I want to put up some numbers here. First, we're going to take a look at the number of layoffs that happened toward the end of the year. This is always so sad as we head into the holidays, up 127,000, 1.4 million overall. But then, and this one I found so striking here, Bloomberg, monthly does a survey with economists. And right now in December, those economists are saying that we're going to head into a recession. 70% of them are saying that. That's up from 65% in November. What are folks supposed to make of the upcoming year as we head into it?
Yeah, all I can say, Alicia, is that it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better. And so, if you're an individual with a job or if you're running a business, you really have to sort of buckle your seatbelts because the first 6 months of 2023 is going to be really challenging. Inflation is one of the biggest issues, obviously. And even though the numbers seem to be plateauing, I just want to warn everybody that the number that you look at for inflation ahead is the producer price index. That's what it costs to make stuff now that's going to come on the market the next few months. And that's still ranging between 7 and 8%. And Alicia, I got to tell you, a lot of my clients around the country, their core costs for building materials and industrial chemicals and steel piping and freight and labor, they're still up in the double digits, which means we're going to be looking at products coming to the market in the next few months. They're going to have to absorb those cost increases, which means more price increases for you and me. So inflation is going to be around for a good 6 months or more, and we have to be prepared for that.
So what do you suggest folks out there do if they're trying to plan out maybe some purchases for the year? Maybe this past year they've been saying, next year we're getting that new refrigerator. Next year we're going to buy the car. Next year. Here comes next year, and it looks like it's going to hurt.
Great advice. Thank you for asking that because, we all know that we're in inflationary times. So, the question is, what do you do about this? So let me give you some advice. First of all, interest rates are not only going up, they're going to continue to go up next year. So if you have credit card debt, I am begging you, get rid of your credit card debt because that is the first vehicle that gets impacted by inflation and interest rates. Even if you can either pay it down or turn it into like a home equity loan, which has much lower interest rates, you've got to keep your overhead low, whether you're personal or a business. So make sure you clear off as much debt as possible. Make sure that you are obviously saving, and also make sure if you haven't done and invested in any type of personal financial, software, whether it's Quicken or Mint or things like that, you should be investing in that. My smartest clients, Alicia, and the people that really manage their money well, they're always looking ahead. They're budgeting what their expenditures are going to be over the next 30, 60, 90 days. That's how you navigate your way in a time of a slower economy and higher inflation. That's what you have to do.
And, Gene, in the middle of all this, folks are also hearing from the White House. The White House is seeing all the same numbers we are. But here's the message that they've been delivering. Take a listen.
Even as we're looking at this transition and navigating through this historically unique transition, the United States looks better.
The data that I just laid out that we have seen the last couple months does not show a recession.
I do continue to believe that there's a path to a soft or softish landing.
I am optimistic because we continue to grow and at a rational pace. We are not anywhere near a recession.
Okay, those messages are a striking departure from the reality and the numbers that we've just been discussing.
Yeah, that is absolutely right. You really have to take with a grain of salt what the government is reporting to you. A perfect example, Alicia, is for the quarter that ended in June of 2022, the government, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, was reporting that the economy had added 1 million jobs. Well, they revised those numbers, and just 2 weeks ago, the revision came out that actually no jobs were added at all during that quarter. And the message that you take away from that as somebody who follows the economy is that when the government is telling you what the numbers are, they're estimates, they're based on surveys. When you're hearing from your political representatives, whether it's President Biden or whoever, that the economy is good and getting stronger, they always have their agenda. You have to take that with a grain of salt. And that is not where the economy is going right now. We are looking at a rough next 6 months. We're going to be paying the price for the trillions of dollars in stimulus spending that has been spent and the pandemic, which has really added up the costs that we need to recover from. We all have to make sure that we are careful with our numbers and our money, at least in the middle of 2023, and hopefully things will get better after that.
Yeah, and right now, at this time in the economy, I think about those small businesses out there that are struggling, right? They're struggling. You see signs all the time. You show up at a store, and there's a sign that says we're closed because of staffing shortages. Inflation is hurting them when they're trying to build up their supplies in the back room. I mean, what are your thoughts on small businesses heading forward?
First of all, if you want to look at, actual numbers, both the big payroll companies like the ADPs and the Paychecks, they report on what increases are for compensation. Hourly earnings have gone up 17% since 2020, and salaried earnings have gone up as much as 15%, Alicia, for those that have been switching jobs. So there was an extraordinary pressure on businesses to pay their employees more, and that really has an impact on a small business that's working on very, very narrow margins. They are going to continue to see that pressure throughout 2023 because the labor market continues to remain tight. One of the weird things about this recession is there is still a big demand for labor, which is a good thing for jobs. But we've already seen that. You reported at the beginning of this segment that is starting to turn around. Layoffs are happening. But small businesses themselves are going to have to be dealing with increased costs of labor in 2023. And again, they're going to have to find some way to pay for that or they're going to lose out on employees.
Gene Marks, thank you so much. Good to talk to you, even though it was kind of a bummer. But thanks for the tips, too.
I know. Hopefully better news next year, Alicia.